Yeah, I had to write a disclaimer for this one. This one's a bit of a doozy. I'm not a person who shows his genuine emotions often. Probably because I'm a clone of 37th US President Richard Nixon, but other than that, it's because of the coping mechanisms I have for dealing with anything in my life that is even slightly off balance. When I was a kid, I cried over something as minuscule as my balloon flying away into the skyline, but that need to be emotional during any hardship has slowly faded away over time. Omori is the game that finally made me cry again. Through its entire being that I was misinformed about, leading to an unpredictable experience, the incredible writing that manages to take a player's amygdala hostage, the diversity between the characters' personalities and emotions that capture your heart, and the message of finally forgiving yourself for the mistakes you've made. Omori is an incredible game which can give you an experience that you'll never forget. Omori is a story that at face value appears as the story of two worlds. One being Headspace, which follows the adventures of Omori, Aubrey, Kel, Hiro, and Mari in the dreams of the protagonist Sunny. While trying to find their friend Basil who has gone missing, they travel through peculiar lands, like a narcissistic clackboxer's medieval roleplay, the wet dream of a gambling-addicted marine biologist, and a junkyard. They meet a zany cast of characters such as the Last Resort's owner Jawsome, and the space pirate Space Ex-Boyfriend, or Space Ex-Husband, or Space X, or X's Omori community as garbage. Throughout the journey, Omori and the gang solve issues and uncover dark secrets that parallel the real world and the psychology of Sunny. Speaking of the devil, the second setting of the game is Faraway Town, Sunny's hometown, which follows the story of Sunny rekindling his lost friendships with Kel, Aubrey, Hiro, and Basil, 4 years after the death of his sister. Many of the characters have changed from who they were since they were kids. Sunny and Kel attempt to get Basil's photo album back from Aubrey, who stole it, since she's kind of a bitch now. While trying to get it back, Kel gets rightfully pissed having to deal with a bunch of annoying miscreants. Eventually, the worlds of Headspace and the real world blend together, unraveling the dark truth that Sunny carries within himself, turning itself into a metaphorical form, that being Omori. I found Omori after I had made a satire video a little while ago, parodying ranking videos where I ranked Omori as one of the hottest characters ever because his whole facial expression looked exactly like mine during that moment. I then discovered that he was 12. My dog is moving closer towards me and I can feel an apologetic sigh coming on.
I've made a severe...
Yeah, let me just fix this up real quick. Let me just, oh, there we go. Oh, fix. That is just not a kid. After this, I was told by everyone that I know that has played this game that Omori is constant sadness, and I thought to myself every time, oh, perfect, I've been meaning to fall into a depressive coma for a couple of months. I finally picked up the game since I learned my lesson after being suggested Hollow Knight for multiple years and never playing it, that I should really pick up this anxious mess I've been hearing all about. And then this happened. Oh my god, why didn't I play this game sooner? People fucking lied to me! This game isn't depressing constantly, it's compelling, it's inspiring, and it's funny when it needs to be. And I'm glad that that's the case! My voice has become a high-pitched dog, what the fuck? Shut the... I just hit my throat. An underwhelming story has non-stop sadness that keeps going down, like the graph of a toilet store that's selling baguettes. Why would anyone follow a story that keeps you in a low mood constantly? An incredible story can create happy, positive moments that either result in or are ruined by a depressing outcome that affect the characters and help them to grow, which makes things even more effective to a consumer's emotions. This one is the latter. This game has high moments that help you feel for the characters and understand the dynamics that they have between each other. And it has low moments that show the characters at their most vulnerable and the dark experiences that they have gone through. These low moments are further amplified by these high moments which really piqued my interest and captured my emotions, furthermore, making me resonate with the characters and their circumstances. The writing of Omori is textbook, and when I say that I don't mean that in a negative connotation. I also don't mean that the writing textbook has a whole chapter about how to write a story that creates a community that debates the attraction between children. What the fuck? What the fuck? Oh my god. Get off my screen. The plot diagram is the way that a typical story should be written. Exposition at the beginning, introducing the characters throughout the story, the conflict that the characters need to face, the rising action that increases constantly, always upping the ante with each encounter of the issue, then the climax, which entails the largest moment of the story. The part where all the thrill that you get from the rising action finally gets gratified, the falling action which comes from the result of the climax, and finally the conclusion. I'm gonna give you 5 guesses as to what the conclusion does. The whole of Omori can fit into this diagram, which is really incredible. The beginning introduces players to the characters, and although slow, it's needed to help players connect with them. Then the problem arises in Basil being missing, as well as Sunny needing to move away with his childhood relationships being fractured. The rising action comes throughout the story. Clackbox's roleplay, the wet dream of a gambling addicted marine biologist, a junkyard. Every moment keeps getting better and better. This also goes for the real world story too, with Basil's album being stolen, Kel meeting all of the strange gang. The Aubrey situation is insane. Then the climax appears, which I would call the section from Sunny falling asleep in Basil's living room, where he remembers the incident that he committed 4 years ago, to the battle against Omori. Then the falling action, which comes in the form of Sunny awakening in the hospital, and the conclusion that results in whatever ending you got. I got the good ending, you know, I'm kinda cool. I'm actually really fucking hot and sexy. That's why I that's why I got the good ending. Gaming isn't just a hobby, it's my life. The writing of this game is masterful, which isn't just portrayed in the plot, but the characters themselves. Frankly, I have no idea how anyone could hate any of the characters in Omori. Yeah, Aubrey's antagonistic. Basil attempts to kill Sunny, and Sunny kills Mari, but their stories link with their personalities perfectly from a psychological standpoint, which is why I enjoy all of them, even when Aubrey is pushing Basil into a lake, or Basil is slicing Sunny's arm, or Sunny is hiding his misdeed. All of the characters in this game are amazing. Except Kim. Fuck you, Kim! Oh, fuck you, bitch. Oh, it's the fucking bitch. Great, that's fucking awesome. Can't wait to oh my god! It's a fucking bitch! Characters deal with Mari's death differently, since the 5 of the group were incredibly close to her. Kel, although he doesn't show it, deals with Mari's death just as much as the others. His coping mechanism, however, is connecting with people. After Mari's death, he got into basketball and made new friends in the basketball club. Although he still considered his old group as friends, he was disassociating from them since it would have brought up bad memories that he wasn't prepared to deal with yet. Although Kel doesn't seem like he's dealing with things as badly, sometimes the ones we least expect take things the hardest. Many well-known comedians come to mind. Aubrey, however, took his making new friends as him abandoning her like everyone else had at that point. Kel doesn't seem like he's suffering on the outside, but clearly wants the good times he had as a kid back, trying to fill that void with new hobbies and friends that keep his mind preoccupied. Just like I did when my presidency was freaking me out and I decided to do some shady stuff for a little bit of fun. Aubrey has abandonment issues. That's prevalent in the fact that her dad left her sometime during the 4 years between Mari's death and the current day. Although seeming distant and aloof, she still cares about her friends and the time that they spent together, which is evident since she keeps the photos of Mari and dyes her hair because the two of them were going to do it together. But her father would have disagreed. Aubrey comes from a broken home and deals with trust issues stemming from the abandonment she has faced from the people she cared about the most. Hiro might just be my favorite case of dealing with trauma in this game. Besides what I'll talk about later, the other times I came even close to crying arose from any moments between Hiro and Mari. Anyone with at least one brain cell should pick up that they were either dating or at least had feelings for each other. Through some dialogue with Kel at Mari's grave, you learn that he lashes out at him at some point through this and discover that he shuts everyone off and hides in his room since he can't accept that the girl he cares about so much is gone forever. Although no one has accepted that Mari is gone, Hiro is the only one who can't even stomach seeing her grave. While in Mari's piano room, he cries, thinking about who he has lost and that she will never come back again. Hiro deals with Mari's death by bearing his feelings, not allowing himself to be emotional in front of others since he is viewed as the parental figure of the group, who needs to protect the younger friends. Basil is a character who suffers from severe anxiety, depression, and suicidal ideation because of the guilt he feels after assisting in Mari's framed suicide. He disassociated himself from the group to the point where he blacks out the faces of his friends in his photo album, because remembering the group reminds him of what he has done. Basil is bullied by Aubrey for this, since she doesn't know what he is feeling and believes that he is just abandoning her like everyone else is. It's incredibly tragic. He's just trying to cope with the awful things that he's feeling, while she's doing the same, both believing that the other person is just being terrible for the sake of it. Basil isn't like Sunny, who buries his memories of the incident inside. He has knowledge on everything he's done and he can't move past it. It gets so bad that Basil attempts to kill Sunny and then, I assume at least, himself, so that he can finally be rid of the feeling of hopelessness and despair. Finally, Sunny. Sunny represses his memories of that traumatic moment where he pushed Mari down the stairs, and to avoid accountability, Basil comes up with the idea to frame Mari's manslaughter as a suicide. Since Sunny can't handle any of this, he keeps the memories in the back of his mind and begins forming a false narrative in his brain. In Headspace lives the metaphorical version of himself named Omori. Omori is Sunny's thoughts of suicide, depression, self-harm, and negative self-esteem that has grown after the incident. Sunny develops many fears, one of the most prominent being his fear of the stairs, or the stairs where Mari fell in particular. He gradually regains these memories throughout the game, mainly in the final act, and has to accept what he has done to his sister and that she is gone and can't come back. To represent his trauma, this strange creature follows him around whenever something scary arises. At the end of the game, we learn that this creature was created from Mari's visible eye seeking through her jet black hair. It's also interesting that Omori, the character, is named after the name of Mari's piano, and essentially music was the catalyst for Mari's demise. Sunny didn't enjoy playing violin anymore, or rather didn't want to practice for his and Mari's recital. After Sunny threw his violin down the stairs, he and Mari got into a physical confrontation, with Sunny inevitably pushing her down the stairs. During the incident, it is shown that Sunny is sad, worried, stressed, and any unfortunate emotion that you could possibly imagine, he feels it. He just killed his sister. I don't think that Sunny's a bad person, I just think that he's a kid who made a mistake and felt that his life would be ruined if he took accountability for that mistake, which in itself is another mistake. Don't get me wrong, that doesn't excuse what he did, but it helps make the audience sympathetic that he never manslaughtered Mari out of malicious intent. It's safe to say that Sunny's actions weren't overly sunny. If they weren't going to call him Sunny, you know what they should have called him? I'm gonna ruin my friend's life, I'm gonna ruin my life, and then sleep. The message behind Omori is about forgiveness, but not forgiveness from others, forgiveness in yourself. The story is about Sunny remembering what he has done, what he has caused, who he has ruined, and allowing himself to forgive that. The reason I say self-forgiveness is because I'm 156.9% sure that Hiro grabs the nearest 4x2 and bashes Sunny's skull in after confessing the cover-up. The characters wouldn't forgive Sunny, at least not easily. They would probably take another 4 years, but forgiving yourself is something entirely different. Many people have regrets, things that they feel mass amounts of guilt for. That time you abandoned your old friends when transitioning into high school. That time when you lied to a person that led to a bad experience for them. That time you taped an exit gate at the Watergate Hotel at 2650 Virginia Avenue, Washington. I love this message because it resonates with me on a personal level incredibly well. No, I didn't accidentally no-scope 420 stair kill my sister, but there are too many regrets that I still have that I still can't forgive myself for. Simple things like making an inappropriate joke to a friend, or treating that friend poorly after a falling out. That time you taped an exit gate at the Watergate Hotel. Even though they've forgiven me, I still have a hard time forgiving myself for it. Forgiveness and self-forgiveness are vastly different things. Forgiveness comes from the acceptance of another person or from society as a whole, while self-forgiveness allows you to move forward and come to terms that you aren't a perfect human being and that you've done bad things. Seeing a character who's gone through so much hardship within himself, who deals with suicidal ideation and depression, finally accepting what he has done and beginning the steps to redeeming his actions, made me feel the most satisfied in a character arc I've been in a long time. The message of forgiveness and Sunny's struggle was one of the factors that made me emotional. I was walking down a highway. All of the lights were out, so I kept running down the empty road. Suddenly a light flickered and began shining bright. I stood under the light and was shown the memory of the group in their treehouse playing poker. Kel was losing, Basil had the winning hand, Mari baked cookies, the cookie monster only wishes he could try. I felt something odd. A strange feeling I hadn't felt in a while. The memory was completed, and I got a new part of Sunny's violin. I travelled further down the dark lane you would only assume cars would race down, and another light flickered. Standing under the light led me to another memory of the gang at the beach. Aubrey and Kel arguing as usual, Mari and Hiro teasing each other under the sun. The strange feeling amplified only slightly, but enough to get my heart racing even a little bit. Continuing down the road, another light flickered. This time a memory of the gang's hangout spot. This kept continuing through the memories of a rainy day, to Basil's birthday, and finally, Christmas. where Sunny got his violin to play with his ideal, amazing, incredible sister. A sister who cares about him more than anything in existence. Mari. With each memory came an enhancement in that strange feeling. At the end of memory lane were the characters I'd grown to understand over time. Kel, Aubrey, and Hiro in both their headspace and real-world selves. All of them supporting Sunny against his final battle. The hardest thing he has had to overcome. Himself. I walked through the curtains of a theatre and was met by Omori and Whitespace. Their final battle commencing. With each attack, Omori reminds Sunny of who he is and what he has done. People like you don't deserve to live. She loved you and you killed her. You should just die. With each sentence Omori spewed, I began to tear up. I thought I had lost the game, so I was a little frustrated. And then I chose to not give up. I clicked on the button that said play. Sunny got up from the floor to play his violin one last time. His memories began flashing before his eyes. Every memory. When he was born, when he met Mari, when he met Kel, when he met Hiro, when he met Aubrey, when he met Basil. When they had picnics, when they all watched television in the living room, and visions of Mari fading away from him. My tears had already begun streaming down my face. Seeing the character I was playing as and his friends who I had grown a fondness for, enjoying their moments together before everything we see now, knowing that Sunny was at fault for the destruction of said group and life of his favourite person, knowing that he harbours so much guilt over everything to the point where he won't allow himself to move on, it just made me cry. Sunny collapsed into Omori's embrace, finally unlocking those memories he held inside, forgiving himself for what he has done. Hey fellas, I hope you enjoyed the video. I think it's pretty cool myself. I highly suggest you check out Play Hollow Knight Now, which I consider one of the most underrated reviews on my channel. I'd like to thank CJ for the support on the Patreon. He is still the Scotland King. Many people don't know that. Anyway fellas, I will see you in, I don't know, 1972 to 1974.